What up, Laker Nation? It's your boy DTLF, man. I had to make a video today, man. The NBA season is officially underway. So hyped, man. Been watching some great games on TV. Hopefully you guys have been catching some of them, especially the two last night on TNT. It's awesome to watch those guys on TNT, Charles, Kenny, and all the guys. But the games were good. Opening night, the Cavs versus Celtics. Unfortunately, you know, that gruesome injury kind of killed the vibe in the beginning, but man, did it pick up towards the second half. My God, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the live stream. Had to do one, man. Have a couple of quick little updates on the Lakers. I wanted to go ahead and make this video before, you know, the official regular season opener starts tomorrow. So very hyped for that, man. Super hyped. What's up, Lake Show? How you doing, man? Yo, we're gonna talk about so many things, man. We're gonna get into some NBA topics. So I'll take your questions right now in a little bit. But first of all, I want to give a shout out to my Dodgers, yo. Shout out to the LA Dodgers, man. We're one win away from the World Series, man. We haven't been there since 1988. So shout out to the Dodgers, doing it big, still undefeated in the playoffs, man. Super hyped for that. That's first and foremost. Then secondly, I just want to let you guys know the NBA is having a free preview through their website, so you can go ahead and log in and create an account, and you get a free preview from now till the 24th of October. So check that out, man. I got to see a bunch of games. I've been watching them all day today. That's why I had, you know, to make this video, because man, I know you guys want to talk to me. I know you guys want to talk to me about D-Lo. We're gonna get into that in a little bit. But first, we got some Laker news. First and foremost, we're going to cover the Lakers, man. So the Lakers officially hired Antoine Jamison as a pro scout. So shout out to Jamison, man. Welcome aboard, man. Welcome to the squad. Now this little piece of news, a lot of people have been clamoring for. You guys wanted Vanderbilt, you guys got him, man. Yesterday we signed him to a two-way contract. So shout out to Vanderbilt, because he really deserved it, man. He put in the work. He's been working hard. So I'm hyped for Vander. You know, now he has his opportunity. Hopefully he brings his A game, because we're going to need him if Josh Hart continues to struggle with injuries. He's been injured ever since preseason, ever since Summer League, as a matter of fact. So hopefully this is not, you know, a sign of things to come. So the good news, though, is that it looks like everyone except Josh Hart is healthy, man. News from training camp, not even training camp, from practice already, is already circling that even Andrew Bogut's going to get some minutes opening night. Julius Randle seems to have recovered nicely from back spasms, and everything seems to be going good. So very hyped for that, guys. All right, now let's talk some NBA, guys. I know you guys want to talk about it, man. What a gruesome injury to Gordon Hayward. You know, prayers up for him. Hopefully he has a speedy recovery. Even though he's a Boston Celtic, you never like to see that happen to any player. I was watching it live, and I got grossed out, and I shouted out, and my girl kind of scolded me. She's like, "What?" She panicked. She's like, "What happened? What happened?" I was like, "Oh my God, you got to see this." She thought somebody was dying or something, so she got mad at me for overreacting or whatever. But it was funny because, I mean, it wasn't funny. It was sad, man. To see Gordon Hayward look down and see his toes pointing at his face, that's pretty gruesome, guys. You never wish that upon nobody. So hopefully he recovers. You know, he has a nice recovery, and then hopefully he gets back on the floor soon. In positive news, though, man, great games yesterday. The first one, you know, the Cavs versus Celtics. You know, the Celtics fought back hard. They ended up losing to Cleveland, but Cleveland actually looks a little rusty. But they showed potential. They're actually going to most likely be in the finals again, unfortunately. As far as the Houston Rockets versus the Warriors, I think the Warriors just lost because Draymond Green went down. I mean, that's their captain. Every time he goes down with injury or gets suspended, they end up losing games. So they need him. He's the backbone of the team defensively, and he just helps the team run better. Talking about today's games, man, I just got done watching that 76er versus the Washington Wizards. My God, man. I got to say, Ben Simmons is a beast. And so is Joel Embiid, but Ben Simmons is going to be a problem for the league to deal with for the next couple of years. My goodness, man. He looks like baby LeBron, honestly. Unfortunately for the rest of the league, that's what he looks like, man. What up, LA Forever? Welcome to the live stream. And, you know, that's a deep team. They're going to be one of the top, you know, prototypical teams coming up in the East. And they have the East is wide open, so they might even make the playoffs this season. But yeah, man, it's crazy, right? I know, right, Lakeshore? We already got a better record than Golden State, so let's enjoy it while we have that. But on a serious note, man, Simmons is insane. It's crazy that we were one pick from grabbing him, man. We almost had him If the ping pong balls had fallen our way, there's no doubt in my mind that Magic Johnson, it wasn't even Magic at the time, it was Mitch and Jim, but even those dummies would have made the right choice and took Ben Simmons, man. This kid is head and shoulders above, that draft class. And Embiid looks good as well, except there's one thing I didn't like about Joel Embiid, is that sometimes he forces it when he has wide open teammates. So it's crazy, man. He has wide open teammates, and he forces it sometimes. But I do like his skill set. He's like a baby Hakeem the Dream with a three ball shot and everything, man. And he plays defense, so gotta love that. Robert Covington balled out, man. So many players. But the Washington Wizards came out on top. That's a superior team, so they deserve the win. And John Wall was beasting, man. I had him on my fantasy team, and he dropped a combination of 50 points between assists, points, rebounds, steals, and everything. So, man, if you guys do have a fantasy basketball team, go ahead and pick this man up if you can. If you can't, man, try trading for him. John Wall's going to have a beast of a season. He even looks like he bulked up. He looks like Russell Westbrook body-wise, man. Crazy. Markelle came off the bench. He looked nice in spurts, but that jumper looks a little broken, man, honestly, and his free throws are horrendous. They were talking about Lonzo Ball's jumper, but Markelle Fultz makes Lonzo Ball look like the GOAT of jump shots. That's how bad it is. But it's really exciting, man. The league has gotten off to a great start right now. I'm watching Timberwolves from San Antonio from right here. But all right, D'Angelo Russell had a huge game. Right, he dropped 30 points, 6 assists in his debut for the Brooklyn Nets. But he did play against a lesser team in Indiana. So let's see if this sustains. Now, when he was on the team on the Lakers, I did mention to you guys that most star players break out around their 3rd season. And that's exactly what season it is for D'Angelo. That's the only reason I was saying not to trade him before Magic came on board. The only reason I got on board with trading him was because he seemed to be a cancer to the locker room. He was liking tweets he wasn't supposed to like. That whole snitch thing, looks like players never got over it. And that's the only reason. But skill-wise, we know he's talented. Now, he did get beat by the Indiana Pacers, one of probably the worst teams in the league on paper. Now, we say on paper because at the end of the day, you can't call a team the worst team in the league unless, it's the end of the season and you see their final record. So, on paper, Indiana looks like one of the worst teams in the league, but they play pretty good. Of course, D'Lo, Jeremy Lin, they don't play any defense, so they're going to get destroyed. This is going to be a stat padding season for D'Angelo, so I wouldn't overreact if I'm a Laker fan, but he does have star potential. I've been saying it for the longest. That's why he was one of my favorite young Lakers, even when people used to destroy him. I wish him all the best, honestly. I think this is a perfect situation for him because here in LA, he was competing with Julius Randle, Brandon Ingram. He was competing with other young up-and-coming players for the star role. There, come on, Jeremy Lin's not even competition, guys. Jeremy Lin has always been an above-average role player. Good off the bench. I wouldn't start him on my team personally. But his best years are behind him. His best year was the Mike D'Antoni year. Mike D'Antoni makes every point guard look really, really good. So, but we all know D'Angelo tends to have good breakout games. So I wasn't that impressed, and then he ends up regressing. So hopefully this is not the case. But it looks like D'Angelo might have his, this might be his best chance to shine. I mean, he's on a team that nothing's expected of them. There's really no pressure there. He went from bright lights and high pressure to no pressure in Brooklyn, just rebuild mode. So he's in a place where they can, nurture him and cater to his, shots and everything. He's not going to get criticized there. So, good for him. Again, it didn't impress me. I got to see it all season to be impressed. And it has to impact the team in a form of dubs. I want to see these points come in wins. Because, yeah, it's cool if you get 30 points. But if you give up 40 or 50 in your combined backcourt versus theirs, then, those 30 points are for nothing because you gave up 50. So, you see my point, right? And that's always been the problem with D'Angelo. He's slow-footed, so speedy guards like Darren Collison had a good night tonight. Victor Oladipo. Guards like that will always have field days versus guards like D'Angelo. And that's also, one of the fears that we have with Lonzo Ball, right? Because his on-ball defense is lacking. His off-ball defense is pretty good. Like he's a great help-side defender. He's a good off-ball team defender. But where he lacks is, on-ball. But where Lonzo does beat D'Angelo is his athleticism, man. Lonzo's actually an athlete. And a lot of people, I don't know if they didn't watch UCLA games or whatever, but a lot of people don't think he is. Just wait till the season starts. I can't wait till tomorrow, guys. I'm super hyped. Lonzo actually has good all-around defensive potential. Now, he has to work hard and he has to learn tendencies. He's going to have to. Every great defensive player studies, players' tendencies, matchups. Every night you have to study your matchup, right? If you're guarding Russell Westbrook, you got to know he likes to drive middle, so you got to try to take that away from him. You can't stop a player like Russell Westbrook, but what you can do is you can try to make it harder for him to get those points. And as a result, he'll still get the points, but less efficiently, and you'll help your team actually have a chance at getting a W. So let's see. I see a question here. Dan, what do you think of Lonzo will have tomorrow? I actually think Lonzo's going to impress tomorrow. He's going up against Patrick Beverley. Well, if Patrick Beverley's questionable, he might or might not go. Or he might go against Milos Teodosic or whatever his name is. I think Lonzo's going to have a good night tomorrow. I think he'll have at least 10 assists. I think he'll have at least 10 points. He might even have 5 to 6 rebounds. That's what I think. Opening night, he's probably been aching to play ever since he hurt his ankle. So I'm sure he's going to come out and probably give the crowd something to cheer for. Again, Lonzo has played with, good shooters his whole career, but I don't think he's ever played with a great inside presence like Brook Lopez. So I think I expect those two to be a 1-2 punch. We already kind of see the Lonzo, Brandon Ingram chemistry. He gets some easier buckets closer to the basket. So it's going to be really exciting. And now to your guys' point, who's starting tomorrow for KCP? Well, in practice, I've been seeing that Lil Deng has been starting, unfortunately. So hopefully he can hold his own. He looked decent in preseason, to be honest. He was hitting some shots, and he was playing decent defense. So he might start at the 3, and we might slide down Brandon Ingram to the 2. Personally, I'd start Kuzma, though. You guys already know how I feel about this kid. I don't want to beat a dead horse. But if Deng starts, hey, we have a hell of a bench, man. And I think that's where we can beat the Clippers tomorrow. I think tomorrow night we will give them a run for their money. Even though, they're on paper better than us and they have a star player and Blake Griffin and DeAndre and all this, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, depth matters in the NBA. Tonight, the Sixers couldn't win because they didn't have Washington almost lost because they don't have great bench depth. So the Sixers were able to fight back, with their bench players. Jared Bayless was hitting some big shots. Robert Covington, even though he started, he was hitting some big shots. So role players stepped up. If you don't have a good bench, it's tougher to win in the NBA. Thank God this year looks like we're going to have a good bench between Clarkson, Kyle Kuzma, Julius Randle, Tyler Ennis, or your boy Caruso, whoever plays there. We're going to have a pretty good bench. And they have a decent bench as well, but they did lose Jamal Crawford. Of course, they have Lou Williams. But we'll see what happens, guys. It's going to be interesting. Tomorrow's going to be a good test because the Clippers actually looked good in preseason. But I'm super excited. You said we're getting blown out. You can't say that, man. You got to come out excited, bro. Come on. First game of the regular season, we actually haven't seen the full product on the floor. I know you guys have been disappointed because Lonzo didn't play, blah, 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 all this stuff. But we got to see the full product before we actually, start saying, making these predictions. Tomorrow's the first game of the season. I don't know what to expect, What if Brandon Ingram comes out and has a career night? What if he drops 27, 28 points? And then Lonzo follows that up with a couple of maybe 10 to 12 assists, and we end up winning. Who knows? If our role players step up and everything goes according to plan, then we're good, man. But don't worry about it. Yeah, I know we're still not getting to see the full product tomorrow, but we do get to see a little bit more of a glimpse, man. I'm very interested to see how Lonzo Ball uses that big body in the middle, that post presence that could, finish with the soft touch or step out for the 3. That's gonna be crucial to watch. Also, I have noticed that our defense has gotten better throughout the preseason. I look for that to continue. I look for that to continue during the regular season. And yeah, exactly. Ira said it best. We hope their defense holds up. I do like Larry Nance starting because of his defense. Sure, we take off, some offensive firepower with Julius Randle, but he's more fundamentally safe with getting rebounds and the hustle plays. And that's where we need our power forward. We need him playing his role, and that's what I've always said about Julius Randle. If Julius played his role as a power forward instead of a point forward / playmaker / try to do too much and lose the ball, then we'd be so much better off. So that's why I like Larry Nance Jr. And also our defense increases. It gets better with him and Brook Lopez down in the paint. Also, I look for Brandon Ingram to have a big night tomorrow. Why? Because Gallinari is a good offensive player, but he's not the best defensive player. So I can kind of see Lonzo getting him some easy buckets and maybe Brandon Ingram trying to have his way inside now. We all know DeAndre Jordan's down there lurking, so Brandon Ingram's going to have to be really, really smart, and he's going to have to dish the ball whenever he gets double teamed or he sees DeAndre lurking for the block. So, we'll see how much they've come along. I'm really, really excited to see the bench even more, because that's where I feel like we have our advantages over other benches. That's where we'll probably get the lead or catch up if we're trailing. Now, if our starters could have, the same kind of impact, then we'd be a really good team. But how about Bogut? What do you think of him? Man, I love Bogut's defense and his post IQ. Like, he's a great post passer. He used to have offensive game that has kind of declined with injuries. But I am excited. I think he could easily be the backup center. Unless they want to run and they play Julius at center, sometimes with smaller lineups. But I'm excited to see how he's going to fit in with this team, man. I've been hearing great things about him in practice. So, good question there. But we'll see what happens, man. I'm very hyped, guys. There's so much to look forward to. I mean, Lonzo Ball, we how great of a rookie season is he going to have? That all starts, the Quest Chapter 1 starts tomorrow, man, so we should all be excited. Brandon Ingram, is he going to be able to take the next step, or is he still going to be a 10-point-per-game scorer? There's so many questions. How's Julius Randle going to look with Brook Lopez in the long run, Or is Julius going to stay on the bench and be that six-man-of-the-year type guy, which is why I prefer him. And I actually read an article this morning that the coaching staff and I see eye to eye, because I've been saying this in the videos. I really like the way Julius looked off the bench, and they agree. They also like the way he looks off the bench and can see him dominating second units. You got to learn how to utilize your weapons. We got a lot of weapons. We just got to place them in the right places. How many points do you project Kuzma to have tomorrow? Ooh, good question, man. Hey, what's up? Welcome to the live stream, buddy. How many questions for points for Ingram? I give him like anywhere from 15 to 20. I believe in Ingram, man. I think he's gonna have a decent little game. Like I said, Gallinari is a great offensive player, or a good offensive player. I won't say great. I don't want to throw that term around loosely, but I do expect Ingram to take it to the hole with him there, especially when DeAndre Jordan goes out for breathers or if he gets in foul trouble. And I expect him to just shoot over him, They're both lanky, small forwards, so it should be a good matchup. Let's see. Can Milos Teodosic score and take over when needed? I don't see him as that type of player. No, honestly, I don't. I see him as a more glorified Marcelo Huertas. That's the kind of impact I see him having. In spurts, he might look really good, but then, when defenses figure him out and take away the pass, he's going to be forced to play make, and that's where I think to score, and that's where I think he's going to struggle. Although he looked decent in preseason. I saw several highlights of him. His shot is just weird, though, man. Psyched for Bogut's presence there. It's an interesting addition. I agree, Ira. There's so many things to look forward to. Like Kuzma, that's another one. Is his preseason play going to translate over to regular season? Or are teams, have they already read the scouting reports and are they going to put the clamps on him? And how is he going to respond? Is he going to play make for teammates when they do that? Or is he going to force the issue? And is he skilled enough to still score? I'm very curious to find out all this. I think tomorrow's we're going to get a little glimpse. You don't learn everything, off of one game, of course, but you do start getting glimpses and you start putting pieces of the puzzle together. And I think tomorrow we're going to get an idea of what kind of rotations Luke plans to play. According to Luke and the coaching staff, they did their research. We're more into analytics this year. So we even hired new people in the analytics department and all that. And it's funny because they claim that you can't play young players in excessive amount of minutes, which I agree. I don't see anywhere over 30 minutes for any young player, including Lonzo. I think 30 will be his cap, which is fine. 30 minutes is like, on average, that's close to 8 minutes a quarter. So that's pretty good. I'll take that. Or like 7 minutes a quarter, whatever. But the point is, very excited, man. I can't wait to see how this plays out tomorrow. We have a good game, because we all know the Clippers, they're not going to be as good as they were last season, but they still want to be established and they still want to make the playoffs, so they're going to compete hard. And they do have two All-Stars in DeAndre and Blake Griffin. I call DeAndre an All-Star simply because he's good defensively and on the boards. That's where he kills. Not for his offense, Don't get it twisted. DeAndre is trash on offense. He just catches, lobs, and dunks. That's all he could do. But they do have players that fit that personnel that can just lob up the ball like that Milos guy. So we're gonna have to watch for that. Yeah, I also look forward to see how Brook Lopez inside presence is gonna bother those shots from Blake Griffin, because we all know he's very versatile. He can now shoot the three. He can take you off the dribble. He can finish inside. So, you know, we'll see what happens. Anthony Machado, bro. Do you actually think we care about what you say? You're getting blocked, man. Wasting your time, buddy. Anthony Machado, seriously. We're always going to have these fans that are coming over here to hate, but they hate us because they ain't us, man. We're the greatest franchise in the world, so it doesn't even, at this point, it doesn't surprise me, man. Even when we struggle, we get haters. That tells you how great we are, you know? You don't see us Laker fans going to Nets channels and hating on them because they're irrelevant, right? Maybe if they actually did something, but that's not our style. We just focus on our team. Laker fans are classy, you know? According to this guy, Nets fans are trashy, but I'm not going to speak for all of them. You know, you're always going to have a couple of trolls here and there, but all my fellow YouTubers know what's up with that. But yeah, guys, super hyped, man. Who do you guys like this season so far, man? Who do you guys think is going to take Rookie of the Year? I think it's going to be tough now for Lonzo with the way I saw Ben Simmons play tonight. Is going to be really, really hard, man. Hey, I appreciate you. Thank you, man. I appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for the sub. Yeah, these fans are about to tap out, all of them. You guys already heard the song, man. You guys know the anthem. The anthem I dropped. By the way, shout out to Demi Gold, man. We're working together, collabing on some music, some positive music for the youth, because, you know, this new music is all about money, cars, clothes, all this stuff. But we want to flip the script and, you know, value other things that are actually important in life. So we're dropping the song pretty soon, maybe by this weekend. So matter of fact, I think we're going to do a music video shoot pretty soon. So keep it locked, man. You guys already know I do the music thing on the side. That's my second love, you know, basketball. Actually, my girlfriend, basketball. They're tied up there. Don't tell her I said that. And then we got music down here. So that's the way it is, man. When's the album dropping? Hey, I see, bro. I'm not even sure if I'm going to drop an album, man. I'm just doing mixtapes and song singles, man. Hit singles. We dropping hit after hit. So keep it locked, man. You guys already know what's up. Having players like Lopez and Bogut will help the team. I agree, man. Lopez's length is going to bother teams. Even though he doesn't block a lot of shots, he averages like 1.5 per game. But his length actually bothers, you know, players. Now, this is why I do like to see Larry Nance there, because, you know, I feel like Julius Randle sometimes doesn't box out. He's a good rebounder, but more of a hustle type rebounder. He lacks in the fundamentals. That's where my boy Larry Nance Jr., you know, that's where my boy Larry Nance Jr. is more fundamentally safe. So, you know, when Brook does make those players miss with his length, we're going to need somebody to crash the glass. And I hope Brandon Ingram's on the glass. Having a big guard like Lonzo who likes the rebound is going to help. But that's where we get killed a lot, man, offensive rebounds. So we got to keep working on that. We got to make sure we secure the basketball before we're even looking up the floor, right? Because sometimes we might be looking up the floor and running down, and they get the ball and just score it easily. So what do you think of Kyle Kuzma's defense? I like it. I like it so much that I would start him at power forward, because I saw him match up versus guys like Taj Gibson who are tough. They bang down low. Of course, you know, some power forwards are still going to have their way. He's a rookie. But I think he can hold his own, honestly. I could play him at the power forward. He'd be stretching the crap out of those big men that are slow-footed. So I really like it. And also with his pump fakes, he could probably get to the rack, finish, or play make. But super hype. And I agree with Texas T, man. Lonzo's going to shock a lot of people in a good way. I don't think you guys know, or I won't say you guys, I don't think most fans know what we have in Lonzo yet. And it's going to take a full season to really understand that we actually have a star in the making, because we haven't had one of those in a while. Now, I still believe in Brandon Ingram, right? A lot of people are down on him. But, you know, we got to, we have to build, we need a cornerstone, and that's what we need. And I feel like we got that in Lonzo for real, seriously this time. Now, as you can see, Philadelphia, they lucked out with Joel Embiid. They got him at the number 3 pick. That was the year we drafted Julius Randle. God, I wish Joel Embiid would have fell to us at number 7. That would have been great, right? But unfortunately, you know, they lucked out. They got him at number 3. And they also lucked out with the ping pong balls. Now, I feel like this is our year. I feel like we still got the best player in this draft in Lonzo Ball. Triple-double threat every night, Hall of Fame type point guard. And I don't think a lot of people realize we have that yet. But I think we saw a glimpse of that in Summer League, and we're going to see a lot more during the regular season. So be hyped, man. Hey, I would love a Dodgers Yankees World Series, man. I got a lot of New York friends that I'm sure they'd love that as well. So that East versus West Coast rivalry would be lit, man. That would be super sick, guys. Thoughts on Mike posting more to take your views? He worried, bro. You think so? Hey, man. Look, honestly, I don't see it as competition, man. I actually enjoy watching, from time to time, whenever I have free time. I went and saw his video the other night. I enjoy watching multiple YouTubers talking about the Lakers, man. The more the merrier. We all have different opinions, but at the end of the day, we all come together for one common goal. We want the Lakers to win, so that's what we're talking about. So I appreciate everybody who does Laker videos, especially the ones that know what they're talking about. And Mike, even though at times he can be negative, he knows what he's talking about, man. This guy is smart, very intelligent, and I actually respect him as a person, and I respect his basketball IQ and his acumen for the game. So, props to Mike Sports LA, man. I'm a fan. I'm also a fan of the Lake Show, man. The Lake Show knows exactly what he's talking about. If you guys haven't seen him, go ahead and check him out, man. What am I missing here? What's his channel's name? I always forget his name, man. But let me see. It's called LA Sports. If you're watching right now, bro, go ahead and remind me what is called your channel, man. I forget. But there's a couple of guys on here I watch, man. They're very knowledgeable. And Combat Sports Talk. Thank you for that, LA Forever. I wouldn't have forgave myself if I forgot him. Combat Sports Talk. Now that's my dude right there as well. This guy talks about the Dodgers, about the Rams, about the Lakers, about hockey, MMA. If you guys are interested in LA sports, go check him out. Sub to him. Great guy, man. But yeah, I respect everybody out here in the grind. If you guys do YouTube videos, you know how hard it is to edit, all the time you put into it. You gotta respect it, bro. There's no hate over here. Urban loves the Lakers, man. He's dope too, so check him out as well. All my Laker family gets love from me, man. Every single one of them. Unless they don't know what they're talking about, then they probably don't get no love from me, or they're hating. If they're hating on our players that are on the roster, I don't respect that, because no matter who's on the roster, you have to show respect to anybody who's on the roster. I wasn't a big fan of Nick Young, but I still respected him when he was on the roster. Now, he had a great night yesterday, and he seems to be in the perfect situation now for him. But, still, I was never a big fan of his immaturity and his shot selection. He didn't play like that for us. So, but, I still respected him when he was here wearing purple and gold. Hey, thank you, Lake Show. I appreciate you, man. You're always hooking it up, man. Always with the donations. Lake Show, man. I appreciate you. I'm going to have to get you back as soon as you can live stream, bro. Can't wait for that. Thank you, man. Laker family for sure. Laker Film Room Laker Film Room, I grew up on him, bro. Well, I won't say grew up, because he's been, for the past couple of years. He's relatively new. He's not that old, but I'm a big fan of him. Every time we make a trade, I like to hear his take on the player and how they fit into our system, and I love that. Because I could break it down too like that, but I don't have the patience to sit there for hours like he does, man. It takes hours to edit a clip like that, to get the video clips right, So, shout out to, him, Laker Film Room, beast for sure, man. But everybody, man, even the fans, I appreciate all of you guys, man. You guys always come through. You guys hit me sometimes with different opinions, but they give me to thinking differently sometimes if you guys do have a point. And, like I said, we're all in here for one common goal. What if Ingram has a bad season? Now, that's a good question. If Ingram has a bad season, we wait till next season to see if he shows any growth. If he doesn't, then you talk about moving him. But we got to be patient. He's only 20 years old. Now, I said it with D'Angelo Russell, and it might come to fruition this year. But most NBA stars, they're not, they don't have an impact in the league right away, especially the young players coming out right out of college their first year. It usually takes 2 to 3 years. And that's why Kenny and Charles and them were talking about this yesterday. That we're talking about, maybe making a rule where players have to stay 2 years in college. Now, I don't agree with that, because players have to get paid for their families, especially the poorer ones. So they need the money, and that's why they come to the league quick. But they do have a good point. Players that are more mature, like Kyle Kuzma, who's now 22 years of age, they usually are more NBA ready to contribute. So, but we as Laker fans, we got to be patient. Brandon Ingram has a world of talent, man. He has a lot of potential. He showed it already. Don't forget what he did in the second half of last season, and even in summer league in his one game, he's showing you what he can do. Now he's gonna. Every young player goes through a struggle. Devin Booker is currently going through a struggle. I know this because I have him on my fantasy team, and he hasn't been filling it up. But does that mean Devin Booker's a bum? No, of course he's not. You know, the Phoenix Suns fans, I'm sure they're not looking to trade him. We have to be patient. I know we've been spoiled for years, but it's a new era, man. Now you have to rebuild through the draft, and then it's not like before where we had the prestige of our city being better than every other city, and we having more money. Now everybody has money, and they don't really care about cities. It's all about winning championships now. So that's all I have to say, man. How many years do we wait to see if Ingram can average 20? I say 2 more years, man. Give him 2 more years. Give him this year and next year. I think by next year, you'll see exactly what he's becoming. Kind of like D'Angelo, like I said, D'Angelo Russell. I think this year we're going to see what kind of player he's going to be throughout his career. It's always around the 3rd or 4th year. Happened with James Harden as well. If you go back and do your research, I have done my research, and it's happened to some of the best players. Kobe Bryant didn't start taking off till like his 3rd year. His 1st and 2nd year were subpar, A lot of that is because of playing time, but they have to earn it. So at the same time, I think Brandon Ingram's going to be a really special talent, man. I see his ceiling being up there with Giannis, honestly, because he can handle the ball like him. He has that quick burst to the rim. He's shown it before. All he needs to do is develop consistent jump shooting, especially from beyond the arc, which Giannis is still struggling with. The only difference is Giannis is huge, right? So you guys will probably thinking, oh, you're crazy, Dan. Like, how can he be Giannis? But I'm talking about his tendencies and the way he plays. He loves to attack the rim. He knows how to use his length to finish over defenders. And all he needs to develop is that jump shot. And yes, that's another great point. He has a great attitude. And mostly players like that, they succeed in this league. He's putting in the work. He's showing off the court that he's a leader. And he's just a great all-around guy, man. Although Marcelo Huertas didn't seem to think... I don't know if you guys read that article. Marcelo was sour. Man, Marcelo was sour that he did not, get... I think he was sour he got cut, guys, because he went to talk trash about Kobe and Brandon Ingram. How do you talk trash about Brandon Ingram? That's where you lose all credibility. I don't know the guy personally, right? But I've never heard nothing negative about the kid. I've heard nothing but positive things from everybody. And it's just crazy how Marcelo could throw his teammates under the bus. I mean, that vote's very bad for him if he ever wants to make a return to the NBA. He was a fan favorite, especially when he had those beautiful passes. But, I don't like players like Smush Parker that leave the team, then they want to talk smack. It's like, dude, why weren't you talking smack when you were on the roster if that was true? Obviously, these guys are sour, So it's just funny to me. But, yeah, man, Brandon Ingram has the world of potential. So does Kyle Kuzma, man. That's another kid on my radar. Honestly, when we drafted him, I didn't even know who he was. And I know a lot of college hoops, but I didn't see him in his college play. So, it's just a pleasant surprise. I think this preseason was a major win for us because we just got another young piece to build around. Somebody we weren't counting with. So, Laker fans have to be excited. Lakers were last in defense last year. Has the team improved, and if so, how much? Good question. The Lakers were last team in defense last year. I think that honor is going to go to the Brooklyn Nets. They inherited Jeremy Lin and D'Angelo Russell, so those are 2 of the worst defensive guards in the league, and they're going to get exposed all season long. We, on the other hand, upgraded with KCP, and I think Lonzo's actually going to hold his own. So, yes, I definitely think we've improved. How much is yet to be seen. I did see some strides they made during the preseason. When we started off, we were playing horrible defense. Guys were trashing us. Although the last preseason game was pretty bad, but like I said, those are trap games where D-League players are looking to make a roster, so they're playing extra hard, while our players are just trying not to get injured and get ready for regular season. So, I don't know how much they've improved, but I do know that our perimeter defense has improved. I know our interior defense has improved as well, especially with Larry Nance starting there, and Brook Lopez is a big 7-foot wings length inside, and him blocking shots. So, hey, what's up, Jesus? Yeah, I hope your Kings beat the Rockets too, man. I'm rooting for the underdog, so that should be a fun game to watch. Like I said in the beginning of this video, if you guys weren't here, League Pass is having free preview right now if you sign up through the website or the app. All you got to do is type in your email address and create an account, and they'll just send you emails with special offers here and there. But they have a free preview, so if you're a hoop head like me, I've been watching hoops all day today since it was my day off. So definitely check that out. The Rockets versus Kings. Now I got money on that game, man. I do FanDuel. If you guys never heard of it, you pick, you draft certain players every night, and every night you draft a different team. So tonight I have Hassan Whiteside, I had Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons. I had so many players that did good, and I was this close to going into the top 100. So check that out if you guys want to win free money, or if you guys even like betting some of your own. They have free contest entries. I'll probably post a link. I don't get paid by them, so I'm not doing commercial or nothing, but I'll probably post a link. I think they hook you guys up if you sign up through the link. But I do have money on. I picked De'Aaron Fox, so I'm hoping he does good tonight, man. I need money, Kings. Hey, man, they actually have. I think they have a bright future as well, man. De'Aaron Fox is a very good player. He's actually won me over because coming out of the draft, I wasn't that high on him. I actually compared him to Dennis Schroeder, but he's a lot more closer to John Wall than he is to Schroeder. He's somewhere in between right now, and I do like his defense a lot. So that's going to be a good young guard in this league. It reminds me of defensively, he's like a Patrick Beverly, but he plays the passing lanes a little bit better with his athleticism. But offensively, that's where I'm curious to see if he develops that jumper consistently, and that'll depend on his offense to see where his game takes him. He might be an all-star in the future or not. Just a really good role player, athletic. But so many good young players, man. This was one of the deepest drafts I've seen in a long time. And for me to feel like we got the best player in the draft, that gives me all kinds of goosebumps and butterflies, man. I'm excited. I'm ready, man. I wish it was tonight, the game. Why did the league do us dirty, man? The NBA season started Tuesday, and we got to wait 2 days for our game. I'm so hyped, though, man. It was fun to watch. It's been fun to watch. Every game I've seen has been fun, including the Sixers Wizard one. Hey, what's up, LA Fur? I see you, bro. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for the donation. Much love. This guy, man, I talk to him on Twitter all the time. Also very knowledgeable. If you guys don't already follow me on Twitter, go ahead and follow me, man. I keep you guys with the updates faster than me uploading a video, you know what I'm saying? But it's super hype, man. I'm not saying he reached his full potential. I never said that. Those words never came out of my mouth. I'm saying he's closer to being an impact player in this league than Brandon Ingram. That's why a lot of people think he has more potential, when the truth is I still believe Brandon Ingram has more potential. But that guy's really good. I do agree Kuzma has a lot of potential, man. Like I've said it many times, he reminds me of a young Carmelo Anthony. The way he has the footwork, the way he can get to the basket and finish with either hand, the way he stretches the floor with his quick release. That quick release reminds me of Melo's release. I swear to you guys, it does. I've been watching basketball for years. I'm not saying he's gonna be, I'm not saying he's gonna be the next Carmelo or whatever. I don't want to put that kind of pressure or expectations on a young kid. But that's just who he reminds me of with the footwork, his turnaround, his spin moves in the lane. That's Melo in his prime. But yeah, man, if he comes anywhere close to that, we're gonna be in for the treat, man. It's exciting, guys. It's brand fresh new season. Look, we got a clean slate. We don't know. We can be a surprise team in the league, or we can be just repeat what happened last season, or we can be the Cinderella story of the NBA. A team that makes the playoffs when nobody, everybody, when everybody is saying we're not going to make the playoffs. So I do believe we have an outside shot. And why do I say outside is only because the West is stacked. But the reason it's not ludicrous to think we have an outside shot at making the playoffs is because most of the teams that got loaded up, with the exception of Paul Millsap, were already higher ranked teams. So Carmelo went to the Thunder. Chris Paul went to the Rockets. Those are already teams we expected to make the playoffs. The teams that got weaker were in the playoffs last season, like the Clippers, the Jazz. They lost players. So that's why we actually have a better shot at making the playoffs this year than we did last season. On top of that, we did get better defensively. And I feel like we have a lot of young players. If some of those, I'm not going to say all because it's damn near impossible for all of them to reach their potential. But if at least half of those do, let's say Lonzo, Brandon Ingram, and Kyle Kuzma have great years for us, and even though Clarkson and Julius and other players don't. or vice versa, right? And that's going to give us an even better shot because we know the veterans. We know what Brook Lopez is going to give us. He's going to give us somewhere between 17 and 20 points per game with like 7 rebounds and a block and a half. We know what to expect from him. That's who he is. You know, he's not going to... If he has a bigger year than that, it's the Lonzo Ball effect. But the thing is, if he does have a bigger year for us, then we might be looking to lock him up long term because I really like what I saw from him preseason, man. We haven't had that kind of player. You know, it's crazy, guys. There's just so many possibilities, and I've started a poll on this website. I started a poll that said, you know, what do you guys prefer? You guys want us making the playoffs, but the vets playing good, or the young players balling out, but we missed the playoffs? You know, 89% of everybody voted for the young players balling out, but we missed the playoffs. But yet, you know, we're always arguing about trading the young players. So that's why it doesn't make sense to me. We have to be patient. If we want the young players to play good, but it's okay not to make the playoffs, and that means that we can't criticize, you know, nights when Brandon Ingram loses game for us. Or we can't really criticize it. We can point it out. But the bottom line is he's young and they're going to make mistakes. It's just, that's what happens. Young teams don't win in the NBA. It's been proven. Look at the Timberwolves. They had a lot of talent last season, but they had to go out and get more veterans. They got Jimmy Butler, a proven all-star. You know, now they're still trying to win, but they might still be too young. Who knows? Young teams don't win in the NBA. Now, that's why I like our team, because I feel like we have a good mixture of veterans and youth, right? Veterans and youth. We got Julius Randle, who's now been in the league for 4 years, even though he's only played like 3 of those. Or he's about to be in the league for 4 years. We have Clarkson, who's been in the league for 4 years. We have Larry Nance Jr., who, you know, he played several years in college and now has been with us for 2 years. We have veterans like KCP, who even though he's 24, he's a vet because he's already been around. He's been to the playoffs. He has experience. He's played versus LeBron, you know, in a 7-game series. And he actually, you know, held his own. That's why I love the kid. You know, veterans like Brook Lopez, Lil Dang, even though Lil Dang hasn't produced much on the court, he's still going to give that leadership in the locker room, and he's still going to do that for us, you know. So at the end of the day, when I look at our roster, and this is why I say we have depth, is because we have guys who can actually contribute during the course of a season. Young players they'll show up in chunks. They won't show up consistently unless the player is really special, like Anthony Davis or LeBron, a player that just has an impact from year one. I hope that's what Lonzo is, but I'm not going to put that kind of pressure on him, right? So that's my whole point about our depth, man. I really do like our depth. We have a lot of veterans. The addition of Andrew Bogut is going to add like 4 to 5 wins to our season, believe it or not, because he's going to have game-changing plays on the second unit, because every play matters. Even when our bench is out there, it matters. At the end of the day, if our bench outplays their bench and our starters at least, you know, hold up to their starters or at least keep it close, we're going to win those games most likely. Also, we need a closer. We need to find out who's going to be our closer, you know, and all that stuff. But a lot of questions to answer. A lot of things have to go good for us to make the playoffs, but I still believe, and I'm very excited because I think we have a very special young player in Lonzo Ball. I think we have a special young player in Kuzma and Ingram. I really like what I saw from Julius off the bench. You know, I love Brook Lopez. I think he's going to contribute big time. KCP, I think he's going to be really good for us, especially on the defensive end. I like our team a lot. Dan, you might have answered, but who's your starting lineup for the KCP suspension? Like I said, personally, I would just slide Brandon Ingram down to the 2 or just start Kuzma at the 3 or whatever. But it's only a 2-game suspension, so it doesn't matter, man. I think they're going to start a little thing based on what I've been hearing. It ain't going to be Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's not going to see a lot of minutes unless Josh Hart continues to be injured. If he continues to be injured during the course of the season, I think that's why we got Vander. He's like our insurance policies. You know, he's gonna make sure that if our guard, like 1 or 2 of our guards go down, we have somebody to throw into the rotation. So that's why I did like that Vanderbilt signing. I didn't like him as a player that much because he has tunnel vision most of the time, and he repeats what we already have on the roster. But he's good for depth, right? That's where he's good. If Jordan Clarkson goes down, then you can plug in Vanderbilt and he can give you some quick buckets off the bench. So, you know, again, loving our depth, man. Do you think Caruso's going to get bench minutes in the first? Do I think Caruso's going to get bench minutes in the first 2 games without KCP? I think so. I think Caruso's going to get bench minutes for those 45 days that we're able to use him. Yeah, Fox is good, man. Fox is going to be good for you guys. That's probably, let me see, looking at the Kings roster, I don't want to come out and say a stupid quote. That's probably your best player on the roster, honestly. And that's not to put the rest of your roster down. That's actually a compliment, but I'm just saying, like, that's right off the bat, that would be my guy to build around. Do you think Randle is traded by the trade deadline? Ooh, man, you hit the nail on the head. That's one thing I wanted to talk about that I forgot. I almost forgot it, guys. I was almost going to end this video without talking about Julius Randle's extension. Julius Randle did not get an extension, which means one of two things, all right? It means either A, well, we put to the side the fact that we were saving money for free agency. We knew that. But it means that A, we're either going to wait to re-sign him after we get a max free agent or two. That way we can go over the cap. Or B, we're looking to trade him by trade deadline. One of the two things. Now, if we're not looking at Julius Randle for long term, if Magic, Luke, and all, the rest of the front office is not looking at Julius Randle to be a part of our second unit or whatever, they're not going to want to pay him like, similar to what they paid Jordan Clarkson. So my guess is they might look to trade him, flip him for like a mid to late first round pick, or flip him for an established veteran that can help us, or maybe a good shooter. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. But if he continues playing the way he's been off the bench, if he can average like 15 to 17 points off the bench with like 7 to 8 rebounds, then we might just keep him there long term, because he can easily be a Lamar Odom type player. And this is a comparison people had made when we first drafted him. I think even Kobe said he looked like a mix of Lamar Odom and Zach Randolph. Now, Kobe's a guy who's been in the league so many years that when he says something like that, you gotta believe him, because he studies players, man. So I think that might be his ceiling. It's Lamar Odom, which is pretty damn good. Although we had higher hopes. We wanted him to be a KG type. If he developed that mid-range jump shot, if he was good defensively, and he had that high motor. So that's what we wanted. But in reality, sometimes you get a different type of reality. And for Julius Randle, his ceiling might just be that of Lamar Odom's, which is still pretty high praise, because Lamar Odom was a very great player and he was key and pivotal to our championship run. So, a player like that can be very useful if you keep him around off the bench. Now, the question is, if we do keep him, right, he'll be unrestricted into the summer. If he's not patient or he doesn't like his role with the Lakers, he might want to get paid elsewhere. Now, I wonder if another team will offer him more money to play elsewhere to start. I'm not sure they will. People are being more conservative with their money. Last season, they were conserving this summer. It took them long to spend their money. So we'll see what happens. All right, peace out, LA Forever. Thank you for the donation, buddy. I appreciate you, man. Catch you later, man. But yeah, guys, if you guys have any questions, hit me now, man, because I'm about to get off in a little bit. Got to go finish watching this game right here. Timberwolves versus Spurs. If anybody could check the score for me, because I can't see it from this angle, let me know. But yeah, man, super excited, guys. So many things to look forward to this season. A lot of things to cover. Look, a lot of question marks. Is LeBron going to stay in Cleveland? Is Paul George going to stay in Oklahoma City? Is that threesome even going to work out? I'm curious to see what happens with those three. Carmelo, Paul George, Russell Westbrook. Who takes the final shot in the last couple of minutes of the last seconds of the game? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. And are they going to be okay with letting other players take the shots? It's going to be very, 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 interesting season. A lot of questions to answer. A lot of things are going to be resolved, and a lot is going to be implicated for the 2018 summer free agency. All right, peace out, Sonic. I see you, bro. See you, man. Hey, Dan, do you think D Wade will follow LeBron to the Lakers if he does come? That depends. That depends. If they win a championship this year, maybe they just stay in Cleveland, honestly. But I doubt it. I think Golden State still has it. I think they're still a superior team, even though they lost opening night. The funny thing about Golden State is they became even more stacked when they added Nick Young, who fits their system perfectly, just a trigger happy guy, you know. And they also added that one of my favorite college basketball players, Charles Barkley, made a great point last night when he said, "What are GMs thinking letting Jordan Bell slip out of the first round?" You know, that's crazy. But you know, it happens sometimes, and Golden State capitalized on it. So I actually think they got better than last season. Who would they need to trade to get rid of the Dang contract? Either Jordan Clarkson or or Julius Randle, or maybe even both, honestly, because that's an atrocious contract, and teams are not looking to add those kind of contracts unless you give up a player the caliber of D'Angelo. We don't have a lot of those on the team. Brandon Ingram's one, Kuzma's another, and we don't want to give those up, right? And Lonzo's the other one. So those are probably the players they're looking for. But maybe if you get a team in desperation that just needs young talent quick, or just wants young talent because they don't feel like they're going to get anytime soon, they don't have draft picks, then maybe you can capitalize and flip either Clarkson or Julius and maybe another young piece, you know, in order to get rid of that contract. Right now, I'm not worried about it. Honestly, that can happen during the summer. So I'm just looking forward to this season. Looking forward to it. I've been holding my opinions till the season starts. Hey, you're a wise man, bro. You can't really... Honestly, I feel you on that. Tomorrow's just going to be a glimpse. I don't think we can actually see the identity of this Laker team till like around mid-December. That's when you're really going to see what type of team this is. Now, of course, by that point, they can still turn it around if they're down, or they can start losing if they're up. So anything's possible. You kind of get a glimpse around mid-December. But I feel you, man. I wouldn't... Preseason means nothing. Golden State lost, I think, a couple of games of preseason. Some of the better teams lost in preseason, so it means nothing. Yeah, I feel you, Lakeshire. I agree, man. I feel like we'll improve, man. I'm not even worried about that. But that's gonna cut it for me, Laker Nation. I appreciate you guys, man, for tuning in with me as always. I need to talk with you guys a little bit, man. There's so much basketball to cover. You guys can always talk basketball to me, man. Follow me on Twitter. I appreciate you guys, man. Shout out Laker Nation. And we're going to make another video tomorrow after the game. So I'll catch you guys then, man. Peace out.